Balder. Look at all those toes. Look at all the toes. Put your ears up. Ears up. Yay. Okay, we're gonna do chase me, chase me. We're gonna do chase me, chase me. You ready, head fake? Chase me, chase me. Fun?
Cheese is fine.
What other toppings? You're carb loading.
Ja, där med. Jag kände Ja, så du också har den sista biten. Ja, du har fått ta. You are penisstick. You are penisstick. Jag har aldrig fått så kul.
Get her in position. Pokey, feed it. Stand pretty. Come on. Stand pretty, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good girl. Come on. I know, Dagney, you'll get your turn next. Anja! Let me just walk her back and forth so she's in the shoe. Come on, stop. Stop. Alright. You want her to face you? Stop. Oh my gosh, she's too wild. Nope. Stop pretty. That's good. You see all her toes. Hello.
Anja. Hi, Anja. Hello. Hi.
Wow, you got a big eye. That's right, Dagney. Dagney is very good at this. Hey, Dagney, you want your turn? All right, come on, let's go. And we'll walk right back to the top. Turn. Very nice. Watch me. Up. Stand pretty. There you go. You got both sisters. Stand pretty. So you don't do that. Nope. Nope. Stand pretty. Come here. Turn around. That's nice. Look at this show, doggy. Stand pretty. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8.
Wow. How are you?
There was a very large of Norwegians this
weekend,
time.
you know?
My mother
They've been busy.
So take a look here at the 6 paw. They've got the 6
depending on the branch of
fully
which
functional
side
toes.
of the river you're on,
Fully
they've been here.
toes.
On all 4 feet.
And this is Dagney. She's a bit of a
You're
cuddle
actually
baby.
related to.
No, Johnson didn't marry Pocahontas.
She's a cuddle baby.
Pocahontas did marry a
But
white.
when they're talking about the 6 toes, that have this ability to grab shale and do all of these other
Yeah, I know.
things.
But let's say aside,
And they're not dew
one-
claws,
one
they're
section of the
they're
family
actual
came over,
toes, which I have to explain to
Very-
people.
Yeah, what's that? What's the difference?
They
So
ended
dew
up
claw
in-
is just kind of like a
in Rhode
little
Island. They ended
after
up being
evolution
from
that
the
they
Rhode
didn't
Island
need it
for a
any
while, they got
as much.
rid of
But
it.
their toes have
During the process-
joints,
during the process of that,
ligaments,
they,
tendons,
there's actual paperwork.
Yeah.
so they can manipulate them like
Right,
thumbs.
citizenship and
In fact, if we can grab Anja, she's got really big front toes. They look
Oh,
like
okay.
mittens,
Oh,
big like mitten toes.
On that side, I'm second generation. On the other side,
Yes.
Yep.
So she's learned to turn on the electric blanket. You'll see her like punch it like a little thumb. And then we were at agility practice and she stuck her foot out of her crate and untied my girlfriend's shoelaces. Right? You're so funny.
And they, of course,
You're
went
so
to the
funny.
Carolinas because there was some question about whether or not they were sent as criminals or as indentures.
And when they
And they
descend,
went south.
you'll watch them, they spread out their toes really, really wide so they're serving as brakes. And with their flexibility of their shoulders, they can extend their legs out to the side and you just see them. It's like trying to stretch your fingers for a full octave on a piano. That's what they look like. Yeah. And they tend to, like, I've watched them scramble rocks. It's like they like the challenge of going down them more than going up them. Yeah. You're doing very good.
War News was
Yes, you are.
Denmark and Norway.
Anja.
Oh, but yeah, you know, just realize, wow, that's really,
that was something.
I just really enjoyed it. It's, you know, it doesn't have any intermissions, but it's like,
They're like, we're going. And they're already.
yeah. It was,
Yeah, that's actually
There you go. Oh yeah. Lundehunds bred with Norwegian Lundehunds, and that is what is the modern corgi. So you have a lot of Bellhund owners who people say, oh, it looks like a corgi, and they will say, no, a corgi looks like a Valhund. So if you're really into like doing some really fun dog sports, check out Hog Dog. It's in Millersville, Maryland, and it is really the Wally World of dog places because they have an indoor huge agility facility. They do obedience classes, rally. They have dock diving. They actually have the pool in the dock there, and they also do fast cat, the lure coursing, and last but not least, they do disc dog, which is the dogs catching the frisbee. So there's a whole big field for that.
Welcome to a special edition of Pet Info Cafe. We're here to talk about Lundehunds today. I'm your host, Jennifer Eileen, and I'm very excited to introduce Michael and Karen, who know a lot about Lundehunds.
Hi, I'm Karen, and my husband Michael. We've had Lundehunds since 2004. We found out about the breed through an article in a magazine, and we did our research to determine that yes, it was a good fit for us. So I contacted the Lundehund Club at the time and hooked up with a breeder, thinking it'd probably be a couple of years before we matched up with anybody, and we lucked out and had our first Lundehund within a few months. Okay, we're in the library now of the Sons of Norway, and where a lot of the history of Norway can be found in the books. And we're here to talk about the Lundehunds. And the Lundehunds are an ancient breed that were found in the Lofoten Islands of Norway, and it's the only place they've ever been found. They have
because these dogs have not been bred to be the way they are. Right. These are actually an ancient breed, and they were never bred for the purposes that they have. They have a number of distinctive characteristics that other dogs do not have. They actually have their front paws can go all the way out.
All their legs can go all the way out.
And they can actually be, so the only dog that we know that can really give you a hug. But they also climb. And I mean, unlike other dogs that can only go like this to get up, they can actually grab onto the shale fjords, climb up to get the prey that they want to eat. What they feed on historically would have been seafood and also puffins.
Hence their name.
Hence their names. Lundehund, Puffin Dog. So.
So they were only found there, and so they were very low in numbers. So they're considered the oldest and rarest of breeds. Right now, there's archaeological evidence the Vikings took them on their travels. So they've been down to less than 10 dogs that we know of throughout history 3 times. First time with distemper, and then again when during the war distemper was brought to the island, and that wiped out all of the dogs, most all of the dogs. Right, and then when the puffins got on the endangered list, unfortunately they did not recognize the dogs were more unique and rare than even the puffins.
Because all puffins around the world are related.
Puffins, so they put a bounty on the dogs' heads, and
on that island.
Tax or a bounty. I'm not really sure.
It was both. They had both.
Anyway,
they had a bounty and a tax, because the bounty was from the Puffin Association that voted to protect the puffins, thinking that these were endangered. These birds were endangered, but it turns out all the puffins in the world are related. Puffins in Norway are the same puffins that are in Scotland or Ireland or England. All of puffins around the world, wherever they're found, are related DNA-wise. They are one species, even though people say their characteristics are different. And these guys, our Lundehunds were actually unfairly targeted by this discrimination. Now, puffins are important for eating, but they were not considered to be something that the farmers on this island were using as their protein source in the middle of winter. They actually use their bones for sewing and knitting and making clothes. They use the feathers to actually make their clothing and bedding.
So physiologically, the dogs are different than other dogs in that they have the extra flexibility. They can put their arms out to the side. That's all four. So if they slid on the snow and ice, like a reindeer, you'll see pictures of reindeers on the internet where they're sliding on the ice with all four legs out. Lundehunds would do that, so they didn't break anything. Their necks are flexible. They can either throw their heads straight back to look behind themselves or to the side to look behind themselves. So like he said, if they couldn't turn around in the cave, they could back themselves out. They can fold their bodies in half, much like a taco. So when they're turning around, they're very tight turn radius.
Very flexible.
They have the 6 toes on every foot. That helps with the traction on the snow and ice, and also with climbing. Some of those toes have the extra joints to give them more grasping ability. They have fewer teeth than other dogs because they would bring the eggs. They would bring the eggs in, so they can cradle the eggs in their mouth without breaking them. Their ears fold like fortune cookies to keep out the dirt and the moisture and the wind.
It's very unusual. They have so many different expressions.
So they're different anatomically than other dogs. That's how they can tell that archaeologically that it was a Lundehund versus a Buhund or something like that.
And Lundehunds actually run differently. They actually have so many different modes. It's amazing that they can trot, they can actually gallop, they look like they're horses sometimes rather than dogs when they're going. I mean, they love to prance when they have their tails up and they just prance. But when they run, they're galloping. You know, and these are very, very fast. I mean, the birds had no chance if they were close to the ground. The dogs are natural predators for birds, for any avian species, actually. And they will go in the water. Their fur actually, in the wintertime, they get double layers on their fur, so they actually can stay drier even though it's snowing out. So they do have double coats for the wintertime, which they do shed. But we have found that a lot of people say that the dogs don't cause them to have allergies that they normally have with regular dogs. Even after they shed their inner coats, that extra fine fur that sometimes people saved to actually make bedding with, nobody had a problem with it. So a Puffin dog, Lundehund, was very valuable at the time because they would feed you in the middle of winter. So they could catch up to 15 birds at a time. We were very amazed when we actually pulled the hind legs of our dogs and we figured, this is weird. It turns out that this is historically that the farmers that were breeding the dogs actually would go out and actually go with their Puffins going in the fjords. They would go into, the dogs would go in, they'd grab a Puffin. Puffin had a unique characteristic where they'd grab another Puffin to stop themselves from being pulled. So the farmer and the one story I heard was that they could pull out up to 15 birds in one pull of the hind legs of a Lundehund, and Lundehund were fine with it. They didn't have a problem with that. But Lundehunds have a unique characteristic that they were in a hole in the fjords, and the fjords with shale actually is very like sand. You could actually, if you're not being right, so these caves, they'd be stuck sometimes in these caves. They would not be scared. They would just flip their necks backwards so that their eyes were facing backwards, so they could actually walk themselves backwards to get out of the fjords, getting out of the caves that they were in with the Puffins. Very unusual breed. And as I was talking about before when we were speaking, back in the 60s, during Eisenhower's time in office, we confirmed with the Norwegian ambassador. He said that there was only 6 that they were confirmed nationally, and he knew about that. So I don't know. Yeah, they're considered an ancient breed, which is again in the terrier class. I think it's AKC puts them in. And they are now registered with the AKC, so they are actually competing in the AKC shows now.
So the AKC website has a lot of information. There's also a Lundehund Association.
Is that anybody that's interested in this breed does have to be aware there are certain health issues because there was such a low number of them, that every one of these dogs are related to every other dog.
You want to do your research and make sure you have the financial wherewithal and to deal with, and the dog just fits in well into your family, because it's a big expense of time and money and your family love and everything to get any dog. You want to do your research.